Wanted. Today we're going to be working on Big Brain Bryn. Try saying that 5 times fast. Sorry, I had to reach down and turn off my compressor. We had just finished priming him. You can see he is nice and shiny. So yeah, this is the guy we're going to be working on this evening or afternoon. That time. So how is everybody doing today? Woo! We got some brightness going on. That thing is hot. Let's see here. We need to get some greens out. We'll be working with our good old-fashioned Caliban green, Warpstone green, Moot green, and if I can find it, Uriel yellow, or Flash gets yellow, sorry. These are our skin tones for Gremlins. Hey, llama, brain cat. Well, to be fair, the cat doesn't have the brain. The gremlin has the brain, but the naked cat, or whatever the hell that thing is pretty disturbing. How are you doing, llama? And others. Okay, so we'll get some white, some pinks. We'll get a little flesh tone too, probably, because I guess that's the cat. It's going to have flesh tones, right? Little red wash, maybe. Yeah, I think that might work. Some red wash. And of course, we need our blues for his clothing. So we're going to go with some intermediate blue, some pale blue, and of course, white for his clothing. Okay. So I got my colors kind of worked out. I've heard they're like extra super lovey-dovey compared to regular cats, which is kind of funny. I guess they have to make up for being so ugly. They're like, I will love you till the end of time. Please pay me attention. Friend turns on the AC when she wants extra snuggles from the cat. Smart. That's actually kind of a brilliant plan. Kind of diabolical, but brilliant. Llama couldn't do that. Speaking of, have you made any progress with your outdoor kitty? Gonna start with his little footsies because they're easy to get to, nice and separate from everything else. Are you thinking it's cruel for the cat or cruel for you? Turn the AC. Cruel for that cat. Oh, okay. I figure for you because you're so cold natured. We'll try not to forget his other hand like we did on Totally Not Thunder Sunday night. We're sitting there painting along. Oh, this is great. This guy's only got one hand, and I happen to look. Oh, wait, there's another one on the shoulder. Just totally did not see that. How'd that happen? We got it, but had to work at it a bit. See, when I first saw this thing on the package with the teeth on it, I actually thought it was like I don't know, like a what are they called, marmosets or something, or even like some relation to the beaver because of those teeth. Look at those teeth on that thing. They're monsters. They're not really cat teeth. I have no idea what this thing is. So if anybody in the chat happens to know what it is, let me know. it is a disturbing little creature, whatever it is. Mole rat. It could be a mole rat. Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if they had tails. For some reason, I thought they were tailless or had just little stumps. But yeah, you're right. It could be. Or it could be a combination. I mean, it could be a cat mole rat, a mole cat, a naked mole cat. We're just going to slap it around the edge here because we're going to be kind of blending the green and the brain in a little bit there, the green and the pink on the brain. So I have to get too exacting up here around his face. It reminds me a little bit of Harry from Resident Alien. If you guys watched that show, the premiere was on last night for season 2. I love. I can't remember his. I never can remember his name. I just call him Pilot because he was on Firefly. I think it's Alan Tiddick or something like that. But he's a fantastic actor. Okay, so we got our base coat down. For that, and then we're going to come in and do some of the mole rat or mole cat space coat. One second here. Getting a little. I did my primer really fast today, and so I'm gonna grab my airbrush real quick and just get a little bit of that primer off that needle. This is in a bad way. Okay. Just want to make sure the alcohol is soaking in that cup before I continue doing what I was doing. Okay, now we're done. You have my undivided attention. Hello, kitty cat. How are you today? Captain Sneezy Pants has made an entrance. He did not do his normal. He was already in here earlier, so he'd done his sneezing prior to stream starting. But normally he makes his presence known with an abundance of chain cat sneezes. So he has rightfully earned that nickname. Actually kind of become a meme on my stream about the cat and his sneezes. Probably should be working on the pants area here because it is actually the lowest level or innermost item on this model here, next to his skin. So I'll kind of come back and get that here in a second. So is anybody else working on something while they watch stream? And it says, sound off with what you're working on. I was really hoping to get some smaller brushes, some brushes that have actual tips again, um, prior to today. But unfortunately, the package has not even shipped. I ordered it Thursday of last week. It's not even shipped yet. Shipping has gotten kind of silly lately since before Christmas. You can understand at Christmas, right? Understandable, right? But not now. It should be settled down by now. Try and get up there on that inner leg. There we go. I think we finally got it. Okay. Looks like we missed just a wee bit of his hand up there, but that's okay. Like I said, we got to do the cat first, then we'll worry about his hand. We have to do the suit before we worry about the cat. There's a process to things. Of course, sometimes I skip it, but it almost always makes me pay in the end. I dropped this mole cat's head at least 3 times during the assembly process. And it basically looks like a chunk of unused resin or plastic because it's just kind of this shapeless round thing. So, needless to say, finding it was a challenge. Definitely one of these models I would recommend assembling over a very large white beach towel if you have one in a room with plenty of lights. Like when I get around to assembling my alternate Hamlin crew, the Caitlin crew, it will all be assembled in a clean room. Basically, I'll clean all the stuff out of the room, all the furniture out, cover the floor in white beach towels, and set up lamps like every 6 feet. And I will sit in the middle of a bunch of beach towels and assemble all those cats. Because I figured that's the best way to get it taken care of and not lose parts. Doesn't help. My hobby room actually has Berber carpet. So if you know what Berber is, it's like the gateway to the lost things. So any part that hits the floor here is almost always lost. So yeah, if you have the option when you're doing your hobby room, don't put it where there's Berber. is not conducive to good hobbying. So I finally got my EVS taken care of. That sucker's out the door. It's actually almost to its owner. I was really happy with how those bases turned out. The resin pours, the water. I'd never done resin pouring before, and I did one test base, and it was basically perfect. Other than the ink mixture was off. I needed to adjust that, and I made one single correction, and the rest were dead on. The form idea that I came up with for keeping the acetate up nice and straight really worked out well for him. Most of the tutorials that are out there for resin pours have that acetate, especially on round lip and angle bases. You know, the ones that have bevel edges. The water tilts in or, you know, twist or whatever because the acetate has nothing to hold it up straight. And the forms I made solved that problem, which was cool because it was an exercise not only in the hobby doing these resin forms and the resin pours and all, but it was also an exercise in 3D design too, because I designed the bases or the forms to fit over the base lips, which meant I had to match the curves that are on Malifaux bases. It was definitely a creative project, I think. Okay, so let's get some intermediate blue down here. We're going to do this on his basically his uniform, his lab coat and pants. Bless you, Cap. Now this is not a whole lot different. It's a little different, but it's not crazy different from primer. It's a blue gray, but it is going on there. It is changing the primer a little bit, but not a whole lot. But this will be the base color for the white, because we don't actually go full white, except on like the most extreme highlights. Because really there's nothing you can go above white with. So you want to start with a much darker color or darker hue and work your way up to white. So you can use white like on the very tip top highlights. Not only does that help you with like contrast, but it also helps you with your photography, because believe me, you don't want to try and photograph white. It's not easy to do decent white. Basically, you see no details when you photograph white. It's just either a big old blob of white or nothing. At least in the miniature world. Now in nature, yeah, you got guys that can get you these beautiful shots in the Arctic. I don't know how they do it. I still think it's magic, especially when there's like very little reference material around it. It's just the snow, but they can somehow do it. But the miniature world, not so easy. Okay. Paint the inside of this leg that we didn't get to. And the inside of this coat here. Notice we aren't really getting up in the recesses because it is very close to the actual color of the primer. So we can just kind of use the primer as like the base shadow in behind everything. Bless you, Cap. I didn't notice I got the flesh tone on his face. That's okay. We'll fix that. We got lots more to do on his flesh. This is not a problem at all. Move my microphone around a little bit. It was a little far away. Hopefully that will come through okay for you guys. Okay, I got that just about wrapped up there for the intermediate blue. A little bit right up there in between the mole cat's legs. I can get to it. Okay, there we go. Touch up his chin a little bit and the eyebrow just because it bothers me. Okay. So next we're going to start with some intermediate blue mixed with pale blue. Pale blue, if you really want something bright white, I usually start with it. I'll do this and then I'll do a blue wash. Typically we'll use game color wash because it's a little less dirty looking than Drakenhof Nightshade. I can show you a quick example if it'll show up in the camera. This up here is a game wash. That right there is a Citadel Drakenhof. You see how it's blacker and dirtier looking. So I typically will wash pale blue with this up here, and then come back in with pale blue and then add in successive mixtures of white, and it looks really good, especially like if you're doing angel wings or something like that for or anything that needs to be white with a blue undertone. It works really well. That's one of my my kind of go-to recipes. So we got about a 50-50 mixture of intermediate blue and pale blue. And now we'll come in with a little bit smaller brush and start doing some of the wrinkles and stuff on the pants. This is really going to start popping that out a lot. So hopefully it won't look like a primer for much longer. Gonna come around, wrap around the sides here a little bit. Salty sea bass Pop-Tart makes it look more like a mole rat. The sculpt is totally a cat. Well, it is, but if you look at these teeth, there's still those 2 or 4 big buck teeth. So I don't know. I said it earlier. I think it's a mole cat, like a cross between the two. It's a naked mole cat. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. How are you doing, Sea Bass? Good to see you, my friend. Have you been streaming? Because I've not caught you on, and I don't know if it's just schedule misalignment or if you've not been able to stream. I know you don't stream for Play Weird anymore, but have you done your personal streams? It would be fitting. Yeah. That's kind of what I thought. You know, he's kind of a mad scientist, so he'd have a weird hybrid animal of some sort. Not been able to stream personally, been swamped with commission work. I see. Okay. All right. Well, I was just hoping, you know, like Twitch had not done the unfollow you thing. So I don't have to go back and double check that. And day job work and such. Yeah. I hear you. All right. Well, I hope to see you back on soon. I do enjoy watching you stream your work, man. You're one of the few people I know that can sit there and talk about what colors they're adding and not really be boring. I mean, you know, most of the people, I'm applying this color, I'm applying this color, we're mixing a little bit of this with a little bit of that, and it just gets so boring. But you can do it. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. I'm good with it. Like you resume stream, so much finish your current commission. Nice. No problem, man. I just call it like I see it. I'm very critical of other streamers, I guess, you know, because critical of myself and stuff like that. So I look at it in the other streamers as well. Motor mouth is good for filling. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, I do it too. And I hit dead spots. I always hit dead spots, especially when I'm like focusing in on a detail or something like that. Or I'm having a bad vision day, which is today. So I generally, you know, I'll talk about shows and stuff because I do a lot of binge TV watching when I'm doing assembly or I do my assembly while doing binge TV watching, whichever way you want to look at it. So that's why one of the reasons I don't charge for assembly when I do commissions is one, you know, I like to have control over things that would benefit from sub assemblies. And two, you know, I'm just doing it as busy work while I'm catching up on the week's DVR, right? So I tend to talk about shows a lot when I'm trying to fill dead air. Hey, Captain Sneezy Pants, what are you doing? I know. I'm not paying you attention. That's horrible. I'm so sorry. I have work to do, sir. I know. It's just hard knock life, right? I don't think I saw the final pictures there, Misplay Weird. I'll have to check your page out. I know I saw like progress shots, but I don't think I saw the final. Did you get a pseudonym to photograph them like you did the previous ones? Now, I suppose I probably should make this guy's like feet dirty or the bottoms of his pants legs dirty, but I'm gonna say because he's well, I see him as mad scientist, that his area is going to be relatively clean. In fact, I have for his base, I'm 3D designing like a countertop with a clipboard on it and a beaker or two like that. And it will be not only a piece of the base, but it will be something to pick him up by when I move him around the table. So I don't have to worry about stretching those tiny little ankles of his. But yeah. Yeah, he did the glamour shot. Says you call it nice. I'll definitely have to look at him then. I need to finish my Misshapen before I forget what my water recipe is. I mean, it's basically just the other things now, like the lily pads. I've got to finish those up, in the bamboo, and the flowers on the lily pad. So I mean, she's basically done. Other than that, it's just the leaves, the bamboo, and the flowers. But she was really pretty. I think it was a neat concept. Probably one of my favorite alt or miss models. I like the idea of having that body part kind of separated. It looks so cool. Strategic basing, yes, I'm a big fan of that. You did that with your Iron Skeeter. Essentially built a handle to his base. You wouldn't have to touch. Nice. Yeah, I try and do it with all of them. Dreamer was the first one I did it with. I made him a little nightstand out of plastic card and some milliput, and I used jewelry findings for the handles on the drawers. And so I pick him up via that little nightstand, and I don't have to worry about his tiny little feet snapping off. That was my first experience with strategic basing, but definitely not going to be my last. I did it with Little Miss too. Where's she at? She's here. Hold on. There she is. Here's Little Miss. In her strategic basing, I made a dock for her to sit on, so I can pick her up by that dock. Got a little hair on it, but yeah, pick it up that way, and that way I'm not snapping those tiny feet off. Yeah. What doing, kitty cat? Little crate that she stands on. See, that's smart too. Yeah. But I try and do it, like I said, with all the small footed peoples, and that includes most human females, because even though they're larger models, their feet are very tiny, even smaller than his. Like Red Chapel, they'll probably get like a Victorian street lamps or something like that I can pick them up by. Because all the dead doxies and rotten bells have very small footprints. I would like to see the Iron Skeeter one, how you got that one set up, because I'm going to have to be painting those up pretty soon. Once my box gets here from Canada, it got shipped to Canada by mistake. Been sitting in customs since the 12th and hasn't moved. Maybe one day I'll see that box. So, yeah, that was me. I was showing off my strategic basing for Little Miss. Welcome back, Llama. So we got the Waldo version of you. We got the Bayou version of you. Just DM me if you don't mind. And like I know you're off the rope dudes. They got the little wrestling ring thing going on. That was what made me follow you, man. Was that wrestling ring? It was so fantastic. Yeah, and I hope you don't mind if I probably steal that idea a little bit. Because it was so cool. I can't say maybe it wasn't your idea because I think I've seen it before, but yours was very well executed, I guess. It was a basing concept for years in the making. Nice. Very nice. I admit it probably doesn't look like we're doing a whole lot here. Not sure how much is coming through on the screen, but it is getting some highlights put down. Okay. Make sure we reach around and connect the wrinkles from the backside with this. Now, we won't do this for every color, but just for the first highlight, we will. And let's see if we can reach up in there and get that cuff here without ruining all the other stuff around it. Here we go. And get a little bit of the tail here. We didn't do this earlier. There. Okay, now we're going to switch to our pale blue basically by itself. This should be pretty much like our final highlight, but we may come in and put some spot highlights. I think we need just a little tiny bit of intermediate blue because otherwise it's going to be a huge jump. There, just a tiny amount. Kind of brings it a little bit more back to that cool side. Okay. All right, like I said, this will basically be the final highlight. There may be some sharper points that we'll put some like pure white on. But remember, you really don't want to do pure white as on your models, except like at the highest points, because you can't really go above pure white. Pure white's it. So kind of want to build up to it. Sorry, I was about to sneeze. The cat has rubbed off on me. Don't give me his sneezy fits. We do not need that while on stream. Believe me. Mostly my neck doesn't need it. Oh, God. Can't imagine Shane sneezes. No, thank you. Okay. I'm going to come back here and kind of catch the corners of these. Now I'm going to also catch the ruff of his pants here, the cuff of his pants, but I don't know why I said the ruff. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. My favorite tea is back in stock, guys. Woohoo! I'd make sure I order some as soon as I get off stream. It's been out of stock for over a month. So, Royal Emperor's Chai. It's really good. It's from Tea Runners. They're an online tea store, kind of like Teavana, but just the online version. Uncomfortably the same color as those big soft peanut candy. It's actually a little more pinker in the box. I don't know if you can see it there. It's more red toned. So I'm starting out with the flesh. Okay, I'm starting out with a barbarian flesh. But yeah, I see what color you're talking about. It is the circus peanut. But we're going to be adding a red wash to it, and then we'll do some pink and flesh highlights and stuff on it. So we'll bring it up closer to what's on the box. The candy it's not quite candy orange, but yeah, I see where you're going. Mm-hmm. Did somebody bring up circus peanuts? Are we going to have this debate again? No debate. I mean, I kind of like them. I think some people hate them, but I kind of like them. I definitely like them when they're fresh. Unlike Peeps. Peeps are supposed to eat when they're stale. I don't like Peeps either which way. Peeps are just. I feel about Peeps like most people do about candy corn. They're just disgusting and should fall off the face of the planet. The candy wars have extended to his personal strength. Yeah. The candy wars. It was a dark and uncivilized time. I'm going to cut around that edge there as well. Okay. I am having a real hard time keeping my brush together. This thing is outlived its usefulness, but unfortunately don't have any replacements yet. So fine details are going to be a challenge. So if I get quiet, that's why I'm trying to pull this brush together with sheer willpower. Your father's lifesaver, an elegant suite from a more civilized. How beautiful. Oh man, that's great. I like that. I've always wondered how they thought that a lightsaber cleaving off arms and limbs was more civilized than a blaster hole. I just never quite understood it. Now they made a point of making General Grievous death by blaster pretty nasty, but everybody else that was dropped by blaster, just a little hole, a little smoking hole, no big deal. But arms and legs flying everywhere, that's civilized. How many Star Wars quotes can we shoehorn candy into? I don't know. Hey, McBluff, how are you doing? Welcome in. We are definitely having an interesting conversation today. We turned Candy Wars into the Clone Wars. Yeah, that I don't know. There's a lot of inconsistency. I know some of it is plot armor and stuff like that, but that sort of thing just annoys the crap out of me. I am doing pretty good. Doing good, McBluff. Good to see you. Or, see you. To acknowledge your presence. Yay. Both sizes are available now. 5 and 2 ounce. Much as I like it, I probably should get the 5 ounce. Even though it's pricier. I mean, it works out being less, but it's more upfront, I guess. Less per ounce, but more overall. All right, so let's get a couple there on the chest, and then we will probably come in with a little bit of white here and there to brighten it up in some spots. if we can get my my brush to cooperate, we're going to probably actually mix in a little bit of pale blue with it. I said I don't want to go full on pure white. So we will mix a little pale blue into it. But it may as well be white at this point. Just little bits here and there on these wrinkles. Gameplay wise, I'm very interested to know how people feel about Brynn versus Trixie versus Sparks as henchmen. I feel like Maya's great henchman pool and keyword, but I feel like Brynn barely warms the bench for me. I think he was a lot more auto include before he got errataed. Now I'm not one to talk tactics. I'm not that Malifaux smart yet. But yeah, I think that's why he got hit with the errata. Actually, I did not do. Oops, I forgot to do that one with the other blue. Whoops. Whoopsie doopsie. Come in here and get this real quick. I was excited when this was one of the boxes that Weird sent me, was the Weird Science, and I was excited because it was one of the ones I needed for my my Trixie keyword. So it was a perfect fit, and I love the models in it. So I don't know if they'll be good in game at all, but and it doesn't sound like they are from what you've said. But I'm going to paint them up anyways because they're fun. He has been Murata more than once. I remember his first run. I didn't really nerf him too much. Well, maybe I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the one to discuss tactics, but it seems like I remember him being taken fairly often. And then I saw his errata card, and since then, I don't think I've seen him taken since. Test subjects have some crazy synergy with Brynn. Are they good without him though? So that's what I'm wondering. And if they aren't, then yeah, this is a looks box. So like I said, I don't think I've seen him taken since the errata, or the one that I'm thinking of. Then again, I'm not a tactics expert. Don't know. Not sure if it has changed, but since test subjects can only die from having their wounds reduced to 0, you can get a free obey off them using pull the strings. Huh. It could be the case with a lot of people. Pandemic and everything else. Okay, let's see if we can get back to doing those little pinpoints of this light here. I may come back and repaint this guy when I get my good brushes. This brush is just giving me fits. I mean, you can sit there and form it with your mouth, and it looks like it's holding a nice point. And the second it comes within a nanometer of the model, like the hairs just go and splay apart. Almost like magic, but bad magic. Okay. Okie doke. So, just about gotten the white where it's going to go. I'm not sure. Not really sure if I'm going to dig this. It looks a little bit stripy, a little too much like a gray tiger. There again, like I said, the part of this is brush, I think. Got these twin tails splitting out everywhere. Okay, get back in here and do some more of this flesh work real quick before my flesh completely dries on the pellet. A few little cover-ups there to make. There being one. 1 second there. There is a little bit. I do not see that on the gray. There. Okie doke. Let's see here. Any more going on? On the backs of the mole cat's feet here. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is going to pull up a little bit of red wash here. Oops. Sorry about that. Smacked the microphone. Hopefully I didn't burst anybody's eardrums. Drop a little bit there on my handy dandy resin palette from making bases. You got to remember to with games colors, the Vallejo color washes, you got to really make sure you dry your brush well. For some reason, moisture and Vallejo washes turns into this this weird white residue in the recesses, which is where you really don't want white to be. You want darkness in your recesses. So definitely not a good thing for it. Not a good look. I think this is pulling closer to box art for color on the mole cat. Still have to work it up a little bit, I think, but it's a pretty good match, I think. Okay, as it's drying, it's getting a little darker, but that's okay. That it leaves us working up room, right? So it dries a little darker, and you just have more to work up from. Thought for a second there it had a necklace, but I think that's just a neck roll. The skin rolls up a little bit. Got a double chin or something. Okay. Yeah, I think that's actually pretty good. It's close enough for right now. But take a look. A decent beginning there for that cat. Oops, sorry, glare. Maybe that'll fix it. Yeah. So for the mole cat, it's a pretty decent start for the flesh. It's actually got some kind of like some pale blue mixture in it too. So maybe we'll do a little bit of barbarian flesh with some pale blue. Interesting. That just completely wiped out the color. Let's try maybe a tan flesh in there. Okay. Okay, so we got a little bit of the original tan flesh that it was painted, mixed with some pale blue. I saw some blue blue tones in it, and I think if we bring a little bit more of the tan flesh back in around it, it'd probably be just fine. Okay, let's get some more of that there. that up there on top of what that nose area is there. Some of the ears, some of this roll here. A little bit down here around that lower jaw. Okay, pull it up around, I guess that's part of his rib cage there. Right now, it almost looks like it has no skin on it, like it's not just hairless but skinless. We'll fix that up with a little bit of the actual flesh tone in a minute. It looks kind of disturbing right now for sure. Okay, let's gonna bring a little bit of the flesh. We're gonna do regular flesh this time. Well, there's more than one way to skin a mole cat. That is true. That is very true. For sure. For sure. May actually try using this recipe on the starter set chicken too. I think it might work on it. I think it's a little bit more red or more purple, but I think this workup could work on it. See, I think that this flesh tone is softening that blue up just a wee bit. I think it's starting to make it look a little better here. Still retains a little bit of that blueness to it, but it's not as bright as before, so it's a little less intense. Sure, there's some historical significance to that expression, but I'm seriously wondering why you find multiple ways to skin anything. Well, I mean, cats have always been maligned since the Dark Ages. I mean, since history. I mean, since people started writing books, pretty much. Cats have always gotten a bad rap. First they were, witch familiars and then bad luck bearers, and I mean, they just never had a good rap. I mean, I think that's part of the reason why I like cats so much, because they're the poor black sheep of the family, and me being a black sheep of the family, I empathize with them. So they are my spirit animals. So yeah. All right, I think that's a pretty decent little Skin tone on it. Fur quickie, yeah. Not too bad. I mean, yeah, it could be. It could be some leftover from prehistoric times, where big cats were something to be feared. Yeah. Could very well be. That's what I was looking for. Cats are also barely domesticated. That's not far off. That's very true. Um, I've got a couple at the farm that have made their way into the barn, and uh, two of the three are damn near feral, and the other one is just absolutely adores humans. Um, so like literally one of them, when I captured it in the cage to make sure it got food and water and to try and find a home for it. um, it literally started bouncing off the walls of the cage. And I mean, this was a big dog kennel. I thought for sure it could hold a cat, but it was literally bouncing all over the place. I thought she was going to tear through the walls of a metal cage. She managed not to do it, but I thought for sure she was going to. And the funny thing is, when I did get somebody to come take a look at the kittens to take one home, the girl took one of the feral ones. I couldn't believe it. It was not as feral, but it still was not happy with humans. But she wanted that one. I think it looked like maybe one of her older cats that had passed away, and so she wanted one that resembled him. Um, Trying to paint the little eyeballs on this thing. Now, I know on the box it doesn't show a color on the nose, but I'm going to put a little pink where the nose is just to help delineate it a little bit. Hopefully this will. It doesn't really stand out, does it? Well, add some water, or some white to it. Make it a very light pink. Maybe then it will stand out. There we go. All right, now let's get them teeth, them ugly teeth. Probably gonna do English uniform, because, you know, why not? We use English uniform for everything. Why not use it for nasty teeth? I swear I've single-handedly caused a shortage in those two colors for Vallejo. I use them for so much. I mean, they work for khaki pants. They work for teeth. They work for blonde hair. They work for just about everything that needs, you know, kind of a light, off-white color. All right, now let's get a little bit of Shop T-bone. This will be the last highlight on the teeth. Okay, here we go. We got the teeth down. All right. Now we're going to start on that green skin. Actually, we'll probably do a little bit of let's do a little bit of brain real quick while we're at it. We got the pink out may as well. So we're going to slap this on. Now we will be kind of blending this in. So that's why we're really messy up here. We're not concerned about it too much. Just want to get a base coat on there. Because the way it looks in the artwork, it looks like he doesn't have the top of his skull, but that it's like just held in by skin rather than exposed. See, when I first saw Bryn, when I really wasn't paying attention to the artwork a whole lot, I thought it was that his brain was entirely exposed, so therefore, you know, needed deeper undulations and stuff like that in the cortex. But it's not really exposed. It's like the skin stretched over it. So just like he doesn't have the top of his skull, like a baby that has the hole has not closed up in their skull, his is just wide open and it's just stretching against his skin. Is what it looks like. So we will be highlighting that up a little bit and then kind of glazing it down into the green. I'm blowing it a little bit here and get some drying going. And while we're doing that, do a little bit more work on this coat here in the back. Some of the larger areas here need a little bit of work. Okay. Got that about where I want it. Probably still touch up that a little bit more and get a little bit more of this pink going here because it's kind of splotchy. Definitely more than one color coat needed here. The brain looks like bubblegum. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna fix that, llama. This is just the first step. Okay. There's a process here. There's a method to my madness. At least I think there is. That could be part of my madness, though. It could be my madness speaking, but I think there's a method to it. But yes, it does look very much like bubblegum for the moment, for sure. And while that dries, we'll be working on this leg a little bit here. I feel like I'm going to have to come back and rework this gray a little bit, I think, or this white. It's bugging me. It looks too stripy. And while I can pull that off on a larger miniature, not so much on this one, I don't think. Okay. So now we're going to come back in. We had some white up here from before with the nose. So we're going to mix a little bit of that in with our pink. And start drawing our little noodles in, okay? We got some noodle work here. And noodle work there. So we're just kind of trying to follow the convolutions of his gray matter a little bit. This is why I wish it were a little bit more better formed. They're there, but they're just like barely perceptible or barely able to be picked up by brush. They're perceptible, but they're not easy to pick up with a brush. And some of this will definitely be winging it. Good Lord, I can't talk today. What is wrong with me? Hey, enjoy the pile. How are you doing? Welcome in. It has been a bit. How are you doing, sir? Doing pretty good. I mean, got my fingers in somebody's brain pan. It seems like fun. Sorry, that sounded a little Hannibal Lecter, didn't it? I promise I will not eat your liver with any fava beans and a nice Chianti. Sorry. Oh. Okay. Just about got that. Okay, first highlight of brain matter is in. Now we'll do some more. Oh man, we didn't get no comments for that. I figured we'd get some funny comments out of that. We're doing squishy to judge by the look of the candy brain in the can. Now we're just coming in with a little bit of a highlight color here. A little bit slow with witty comments. No problem. Freshest follower, Jesse. Great. There's more. That's nice. I just noticed that. That's fantastic. Yes, sir. More fun. One of us. One of us. Well, that's why I keep saying my name is Haunted. It just makes it easier. Okay. We just need to change the name down here to Haunted at Haunted Miniatures. Then we won't have any confusion. I mean, that's the way I introduce myself to people, anyways, most of the time. Okay. So we're just continuing these little highlights here. And like I said, I'm hoping once we start adding in a glaze, the green and stuff, this will start blending the two together a little bit. I'm just hoping the green glaze does not throw off the pink too horribly much. I mean, I don't want it super pink because it's not really super pink on the box, right? It's still kind of green. There's just a pinkish cast to it, right? Oops, sorry, glare. There we go. Yeah. So it's not like pink right on top. It's kind of got a green cast to it. So I'm hoping we can pull that off with some glazing. Like I said, it's really awesome. That naked mole cat. Yeah. I enjoyed the little mole cat. I think it was perfect. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm pulling in some of that Caliban green from below. I'm just trying to soften this edge up just a tiny bit here. And if you see, I'm kind of swiping down toward the skin. Rather than up into the brain. A little finger eraser action there. Okay. So now we got that first little kind of wash going in there. Now I want to bring in a little bit of I'll start working on some of our higher colors here. Get a little bit of Warpstone green. And then a little bit to mix with our Caliban. Okay. Let's go ahead and start working some skin tones in here. So it's not just a big blob of dark green. This is a mix of about 50-50 Caliban and Warpstone. We'll give him some pinky tint to the tips of his ears as well. Just right this second. Okay, here we go. Getting that first tone knocked in there. It's not a huge step, but we'll keep working at it. Warpstone's a real big jump from Caliban, so we kind of want to work it in a bit gentle. Otherwise, it just screams, wrong color, wrong color. So. You are Nick Mulk. Came down to the wire and placing your special orders for the test subjects, LaCroix Raiders. Really? Now, that's what I'd like to see come back in stock. I have not seen Ophelia, or the what's the box that has Sammy and the other Ken. I can't remember the name of that box. May just be Ken. But anyways, I have not seen those two like anywhere. And I was like, I could have gotten it, but I was like, sure, it would be no problem to get that later. Whoops. Well, I misjudged that one. Okay, so here you go. Okay. I'm a hearing. Oh my goodness. I want to be famous. Can I be famous? If only it was as easy as buying followers. Everyone would be partner then. Okay, you can buy the special order LaCroix Raiders, the Ophelia Overloaded box, and then go to Alpha Classic section and pick up first edition Francois and Young LaCroix, and then you got all the contents of the Ophelia core box. Oof. Wow. That's a lot of buys just to get the one core box. Or does that cover like the whole keyword? Because what I'm looking for is a keyword. I mean, I want the whole thing. Sorry, dropped my brush. Secret menu. Yeah, I have done that with a couple, that either didn't have third edition equivalents at the time. Like I bought I did buy the hanged for my Jackdaw crew from the 2E Classics Malifaux. Or the 2E section of the Malifaux, because they weren't yet available in 3E at the time. They are now, but they weren't then. But that sounds like a lot of box purchases just to get the core. You get Sly and Perdita? Like, you get 2E Perdita? They come in the overloaded box. Well, I definitely don't need that because already got her. Whew. Wow, she is dusty. Yeah, that definitely does not sound like an efficient way to get it. It's there, but not efficient. But it is impatient. Okay. I'm not that impatient to have Ophelia. I mean, I want her, but not that bad. But I know people that would. Like, I mean, I would have probably done that if it had been one of those keywords I just had to have kind of thing. I know when 3E first dropped, I was kind of getting into or wanting to get into Riva. And, I had no idea where the boxes were going to go with 3E and stuff at that time. The releases, the box designs, the model counts had not really been finalized or anything. So I basically set out buying everything, and it was all disappearing so fast. One of those that was in that needed category was the oh god, what was it called? The Undying or something like that. It had 10 Thunders and Resurrection aside. It had the Grave Golem and the Mourners, and it had Menudo, Katashiro, and Minako Ray. Well, I was kind of getting some 10 Thunders gathered too, so figured, this was a good purchase to get. Well, that box disappeared so fast, and I found it in one place finally, but it was actually more than MSRP. MSRP, I think, was $55 on that box. May have been $60 on the box. I ended up paying $75 for it before shipping. Manos, that was the other one. But it was one of those I kind of considered essential or would be essential. And I wasn't sure when it would be released in 3E. So I made sure I got it, even though I had to pay more than the MSRP for it. I've just noticed that Big Brain Bryn sort of has a nose. That's how very ungremlin like. We are by the way, working with Warpstone Green right now, so we're kind of getting into the brightness section of the skin work. For affiliate keyword, you are probably going to want to get Sly eventually, which means getting a second Perdita. Really? I don't think I've even seen Sly. I didn't know that was one of the keyword. I completely missed that. Let's get some of that on the backside there. Oops, I had a little too much water there. Soak some of that up. P. His family can, not by blood, but by virtue of being an arms dealer who is clearly supplying both sides of the conflict. Interesting. Now, is that the one that's in the titles box, or is that another one I'm thinking of? It is the titles. Okay, yeah, I was planning to get in the titles box anyways. So yeah, I knew I was going to have another Perdita, but I didn't want to buy another Perdita core. So that makes me happy at least. Slide's amazing. Highly recommend it. All right. Very cool, Fear. How are you doing? Welcome in. Let's see here. Can we get a little bit of pink with some of the green? Go. Get it mixed in. Typically, I do their ears, more up toward the the bright yellow-green side, but we may want to pull in a little bit more flesh tone since we got that kind of translucency that we're going to be doing on his head. So, and it does show it on the box art that way as well. So, we'll be doing this one up just a wee bit different from our usual. Good, good. Bryn's looking lovely. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm been a little iffy on him myself, particularly his lab coat or lab jacket and pants. I'm going to probably come back and work on those a little bit more, I think, after stream. But it's been a fun model. Oh, Llama, if you're around, I know I said I would be available at 8 tonight for some Bayou Bash, but I might be a little bit later. I forgot it is my mom's birthday. So dinner with the fam may be a little bit longer than normal. So than my normal kind words. Okay, so we're just working some of this moot greening around and some of the higher spots here for the skin. We'll start bringing that up even brighter here in a moment. Because I do a relatively bright skin on my Grim Grims. Yeah, like you can tell from Little Miss, she has very yellow-green workup. It's even more prominent on Ma because she's a little bit bigger face, so you can see her workup a little better. I don't know if y'all ever saw her finish. Ooh, can we get some focus? Come on, baby, focus. Really? Anyways, definitely a more yellow-green workup. So we will get there with this guy eventually here. Pull in a little bit of moot green and some of that warp stone. Maybe a little more warpstone. Okay. Sorry about that, mousing the camera there. Need to log off for the evening. Thanks for the company and good luck getting the kin together. Thank you, Seabass. Have a great night. Appreciate you hanging out here with us. Okay, there we go. Come back and get that other foot with the moot green real quick. Well, I just threw my brush again at my shirt first, which luckily my shirt's green, so that didn't show up. But brush went in the floor again. I think this is the fourth time I've thrown my brush in the floor today. My hand has not been working like it's supposed to. The carpal tunnel has really gotten bad. Nerve pain, damage, whatever, is pretty much almost paralyzed his hand. Like I can't hold anything. It's amazing I can paint. And I think the only reason I can is because I've got that muscle memory trained. But we're going to hopefully get that fixed this year. Sometime between now and summer, hopefully. It'd be nice to be able to pick things up and not have to worry about them flying right on my hand. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, the funny thing is, I always thought it would be my right hand that would get it first because, you know, I was involved in computer tech for years and years and years. And of course, they don't make left-handed mice, right? I'm left-handed, but they don't make left-handed mice. So everything I did mouse-wise was with my right hand. I assumed right hand would be the one that ended up with the carpal tunnel. Nope. Nope. It was the left hand. So I'm hoping this green will continue to work up really nice. We're getting it where I like it. Right there on his chin from the gray. Let get up there. I mean, I know how I got there, but I don't remember slapping it there. So this is still moot green we're working with right here, but we'll go back to the moot green mix in just a moment. The moot green and warpstone green mix. We actually probably should go ahead and start painting in the eyes too before we get too carried away with the skin on his face. So we'll probably do that here in a second as well. Yeah, one of your favorite guitarists has severe carpal tunnel, had to stop playing for 2 years. Yeah, I mean, it has gotten pretty bad because I have let it go and let it go and let it go and let it go. And basically my hand goes between two states. Like I have my hand in the fireplace or like I'm holding a live 220 volt line. So it's either electrified and tingling or burning on fire. That's his two states. There's nothing in between. So yeah, I'm hoping that the nerve damage is not permanent at this point. Okay, so now we're going to come in and cut his eyes in as best we can. Now they all have red eyes. Let's see if we can get some red eyes in here. That one went a little bit on the cheek. We'll fix that up. This is why I said we probably should have done this before we got too crazy with the skin. Because there will be some corrections going on. Hey, Kyle, how are you doing? How are you doing, sir? Good to see you. Hey, Korak. Yeah, we're getting all brainy up in here. We sure are. How are you doing? Thank you. Appreciate that. We have not glazed the brain in yet. We got to do a little glazing to kind of present like a skin wrapped over brain look, but we wanted to get the brain details in there first. Okay, guys, I believe Sneezy Pants is back on the way in. I hear him snuffling. Glazed brain. Sounds like a special dessert. It is. It is. Right after you've had some liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Sorry. I don't know why I'm on that kick today. Doing well. Weather is garbage, but that's Michigan. Yeah, kind of not unexpected there. Pretty sure that's something the local Dunkins had not long ago. Dunkins? Like, what? Is that like a local chain kind of thing? And what kind of brain did they have that was glazed? Oh, Dunkin' Donuts. Okay, donuts glazed brain. Really? Glazed brains? Freaky. Was it a Halloween thing going on that they had like a brain shaped donut? Dear Lord, Cat, really? Okay, pretty well got that cut in now. Now we can get crazier on the skin. Reminds me a bit of the monkey brains they served at Temple Doom. Yeah. God. Completely unnecessary theme, but it was there for fun. To be fair, you've seen weirder shaped donuts. Okay. I guess I'm not a huge. I mean, I like donuts. Don't get me wrong. I love donuts, but I don't guess I've ever been like a huge donut connoisseur. I used to love the pumpkin spice ones that would come out of Krispy Kremes at Thanksgiving. They do a pumpkin spice like latte style donut. Those are pretty freaking good. I love the glaze and the donut. I mean, chocolate, but guilty pleasure. I like pumpkin spice. I don't often visit Starbucks, but once a year I will go to Starbucks and get a pumpkin spice latte. Just once. Oops, that got on a little harsh. We'll probably have to blend that down a little bit. That's okay. We can do that. Hey, Stig, welcome in. go. Now we're getting it kind of blended in. Pumpkin pie and bet the donut could be good, but likewise, it doesn't consume a month for. Yeah, exactly, or consume your life. Yeah, like I said, it's a one time a year thing. I'll let myself enjoy. I just don't. I am one of those people who will not pay $5 or more for a cup of coffee. Just seems silly to me. So I'll allow myself the one time just because it's a special flavor, and then yeah, no more. Okay. Goodness. In case you didn't know, guys, that is Captain Sneezy Pants behind me, blasting out a chain sneeze. Amongst the other strange snuffling sounds and stuff from him. Oh, he was not done sneezing. Somebody's finding an empty ketchup bottle. Yeah, he is he's a piece of work, that cat. I think he's more popular on my stream than I am. Yep. Sea llama's cat. It's never haunted. It's always cat. Okay. See here, get back to that moot and warpstone mix, and we'll pull the ear in back on the ears. There. A little bit back on that cheek. Back on his chin here. These little pointy bits of his chin. Extend it out just a wee bit here. Stream audiences are simple beings. We see pet, we go, we doll. Yeah. I mean that is probably the simplest answer for the phenomenon. Like I honestly need to get a camera on his little tower, because most of the time he's on his tower, which is in the other room over there. But but like, when he makes his appearance on stream, he has to sneeze continually and then comes prowling around the corner and comes into here. And people can usually hear him before he even makes it into this room because of those sneezes. And I feel like maybe one of these days I should just go ahead and put a camera on his tower so I can have a little camera down on the side, the cat cam or whatever, so people can see the cat when he's not yet made an appearance. Now, I'm trying to finish this guy up before the end of stream, but I am not 100% sure we're going to be able to do that. And if we aren't, then I will continue him next Thursday. And then I probably will finish him up before stream ends then, in which case we'll start on probably the alligator next from this box, because he strikes joy in my heart. But we're trying to get old Brand done, or at least done-ish, on a stream today. Spence Wilder, get on it, doggone it. Grab a paintbrush, paint along. That's what we're here for. All about spreading that hobby love. Haunted, need line art of your emoticons to print like coloring pages. Do you mean from my personal Twitch page, the line art for the emotion, or the emotion emoticons, emotes? That's the word, emotes. Okay. I unfortunately do not have the line art because I paid for my emotes to be done. But I could probably do them myself again if I had some time. Getting some of that lighter green cut back in near the brain here. This should help ease glazing it in a little bit. He doesn't need all that darkness back here anyways. The skin should be relatively light up here. Okay. Okay. So now I think what we're going to do, start bringing in that very, very thin glazing of the mix of moot and warpstone green. I think that's about where we want it, but we want it thinner. So we're trying to pull it down toward the skin. While at the same time getting down in the crevices of the brain without leaving a lot of pooling. And we'll probably do this a couple more times. And then we'll start working the skin out a little bit more around the brain. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really pixelated on the screen right now. But we've got a little bit of a tint going on now. It does look more like thin skin of green stretched over that pink. And it will probably be pronounced more once we do a second or third time on here. May only need one more time, honestly. Maybe a third time down closer to where the pink starts, just to help blend that transition some. But yeah, starting to look pretty good. So we're going to work a little bit more on skin highlights while we're waiting on that to fully dry. And we're going to straight moot green here. Pull a little bit of that right down here at this juncture of the ear. Same thing right up underneath the eye. Go back to the warp stone just a wee bit. Get a little bit of a mix here. Bring that cheekbone out just a wee bit. And then to warp stone a bit here. Bring that down into the jaw. There we go. And bring it from the temple just a wee bit here. McLuff, sorry I've been had a lurk. Hey, lurkers are 100% appreciated, McLuff. Never feel like you need to apologize for that. I'm happy you're here. Chatting, I'm happy you're here. Just lurking, that's fine. Either way, lurking improves numbers. So even if you can't talk, you just put us on, the tab on mute, not the video, not the part down here. But if you put the tab itself on mute and go do other things, that is 100% fine. It still counts as a viewership then. So don't ever feel like you need to apologize for that. Granted, we would always rather have you in here talking, sure. But lurking is wonderful as well. Getting all the stuff packed, spend the new week in New Orleans. Nice, very nice. So now we're going to get one more glaze, that really thin warp stone. And we're going to start pulling it in here over the brain. Not quite going up to the top this time, and we may get a little bit in there, but most of it we're trying to pull from about 3/4 of the way down. Take that back. I'm going to put just a wee bit up here on top because it's still a little pink. A little too pink. Okay. So I think at this point, once this is dry, I will come in and put one more transition basically right around this area, concentrating right in here. Okay. Just to help blend that in a little bit more, and we'll be done with that portion. I'm going to come back over a little bit more on the green here at the tips, or the pink here at the tips, with a little bit of that green mix as well, kind of like what we did with the brain. We got some pink on the ears, but we're going to kind of glaze it back with some green. It's been a while since I've worked with glazes. I haven't really been doing a lot of that lately, so it's kind of fun. Feels fun bringing it back. That got a little too green, so let's see if we can thin that out a wee bit. Bring that flesh back in just a touch. Yeah, I think that's all right. And we're going to do a little bit of flash kits mixed with our moot for some little highlights on the skin. Got 10 minutes. Can we do it, guys? We're real close. Real close. It'd be real cool if we could finish them up, yeah? That's kind of been my thing lately. I've been trying, other than Envy, obviously. Envy was one I could not do in one stream. But for the most part, I've been trying to kind of do a stream, which means they're not like super duper the highest quality or anything, but they're show what you can do in 3 hours time kind of thing. You believe in me? All right. Maybe now we can do it. I'm believed in. Whew. Tiny little knuckles all in a line. Let's go back to the next color. We don't want to go too bright because that one's in very big shadow. Come on, baby. Yeah. Well, you know what? I was doing it again. I did it again. I looked at the stream time, not the actual time. We got 15 minutes. Man, I was all sorts of worried. We got this. We got this. I did it to myself again. Why do I keep doing that? I'm an idiot. I really am. Sometimes. Okay, so we're coming in here just working on these highlights a little bit for his footsies and skins on his hands and face. Gotta paint his H's or the 11s, those tendons in the neck. Okay. Getting a bit of this color work in here, these blends, this highlights. Okay. I think that's just about where I want it. A little bit of this neon green right there. And then we can do our final glaze, right?